So, Yellowjackets is coming out for season 2 on March 24th, I believe. More great TV
We
that we're
just
getting.
watched
So we
season
watched
1.
all of season 1. We didn't see it when it was new, so
No.
we just watched it in the last couple of weeks. 10 episodes of season 1. What are your thoughts on Yellowjackets?
Oh, it's a great show.
I'll give you the quick premise of this show. It's about a group of people that survived a traumatic event in the 90s when they were teenagers. They were on a class trip and their plane crash landed. So first thing I think is the movie Alive, which is from the 90s.
It has a lot of
so apparently they're stuck out in the Appalachians or somewhere in the woods in the U.S. and no one can get to them, which kind of doesn't make any sense. And so they end up being stuck there and they have to survive, or well, they make the decision they want to survive, but that's the wrong choice. They should be making the decision to be rescued. They want to be rescued, not survive out there forever.
Yeah.
And the problem is they end up staying there for so long, and they're hungry. They're hungry. Well, we've only seen they crash landed. It's like the middle of the summer, beginning of the summer.
We've only seen until winter.
And now it's getting to winter, right?
Yeah, but
so they've had to survive this whole time.
But apparently there's another year that they go through. But
this is old, so we're going to spoil this.
Instead of writing help and seashells on the beach or something, they don't do anything like that. They also are not preparing for winter. They're not very smart as far as that. They're not they should have teams of them chopping wood.
Well, they're not survivalists.
No, but
one of them sits around doing nothing but complaining.
You gotta have wood and stuff like that. Anyway, they're just, or make a clearing, and even now that it's snowing, write it in the snow, help or something.
Well, what happens is the plane crash lands. Okay. Oh, by the way, so this series takes place in the past with the teenagers, and then it takes place in the future with the adults, and not all of them are still alive.
The problem is these girls went through things, and they had to really be primitive. So now they're all grown up, and they have children. Some do not, but they're all trying to function in modern society. But they still have all this primitive stuff in them.
Well, they have all this trauma from this event.
But no, they're also they're fight or flight mode. They don't look at the world like everyone else does. They're going, they're expecting a wolf to come around the corner and bite
I'll give you a little bit more information here. So the plane crash lands, and then they're at the plane crash. We already said we're spoiling it.
No, I don't spoil it. We don't need to spoil it. Anyway, it's very good.
This is from 2021.
It doesn't matter. People are going to watch it now because season 2 is coming out. Don't spoil it. We don't need to spoil it. Anyway, it's really good, and it shows what's happened to these ladies.
Here's what I thought as I was watching this episode. I was thinking back to school, to college or high school, and you would do these short exercises where it's you crash landed in the ocean or something, and it gives you a list of things. Yeah, this is a standard exercise, and they do it for work too. And they give you a list of a dozen items. And you have to rank the items of their importance, right?
Okay.
So first thing you have to do is you sit down and be like, okay, what's our goal? Our situation is for these girls, they've crash landed in the woods. They're not going to be rescued because of what someone else did, which apparently I'm not allowed to spoil. And you have to decide, what do you want to do? Do you want to be rescued, or do you want to survive out here in the woods? And the important thing is you want to be rescued, because that's your best chance of long-term survival. If you just try and stay alive in the woods, eventually you're going to run out of resources, and the weather's going to get pretty bad. Now, they do get some shelter and everything, and they have access to water.
The problem is they can't get rescued because they don't know where to go. And that's the problem.
Yeah, but the point is that you want to be rescued, so they take steps that are incorrect, because you want to be rescued, so you want to actually do things that are going to make yourself be rescued and not just survive out in the woods for a long time. And they make the wrong decision, and that's what leads to them being out there for months on end.
I don't think that's the point at all of it. I don't think that's the point at all.
This was my thoughts. Why are you arguing with me on my thoughts of while I'm watching this show?
I don't think that they can't be rescued. This is the issue. They're stuck in this problem.
Okay. Spoilers. Okay. So they crash land. Okay. There's a plane crash in the woods, and they're like, okay, we gathered up what we can, but we got to get away from it because it could blow up. And then they decide, okay, there's a lake there. We're going to go to the lake because there's water there, right? And there might be food, too. So they write on the plane, SOS, we've gone to the lake, right? But no one's gonna see it because it's in the middle of the woods, right? So they go through there, and they find that, and then they find this cabin, which has a dead body in it, and it's way out in the middle of nowhere. Some hermit was living there. So they decide they're gonna live in this thing until they get rescued. That's the wrong decision. What you want to do is you want to keep moving, and you want to get to a point, because while everyone's healthy, before you start starving to death, so that you can get out and get rescued. You don't stay in the woods. That's the wrong choice. Okay. So it's really good until the end. The end kind of ruined it, and then it became like wacky nonsense for me. They didn't stick the landing on this show for me.
It's
but
not
that's
over.
Just me.
It's only halfway there.
We don't know how many seasons this is going to be.
No, I mean, they only get to winter. You know, some of them survive because we see them in the future. That's not the point I'm getting from it at all. They can't get out of there. They're stuck there. Some of them try to be rescued and they can't get anywhere because they don't know where they're going. They don't have supplies.
But they're not in the Himalayas. It's not the movie Alive. They're not stuck way out in the Himalayas.
Listen,
and they can't get out. They're in the U.S.
It doesn't
They're going to be
matter.
able to find someone.
No.
The more you move, you're going to be able to find some signs of civilization.
There's vast areas that are not inhabited, and there's all kinds of animals and bears and things. They have no shelter. They don't have tents.
But if you're a teenager, okay,
anyway,
and you're capable of walking, you can walk a long way in one day. And they do have a little bit of food and supplies at the beginning. So essentially, what you would have done, as soon as you get to the cabin and you bag your first game, because they have weapons, you take that meat and it's like, okay, we're packing up, we're leaving. Oh, this guy's injured and he can't walk? You're on your own, buddy, because we get rescued and then we'll send someone for you. Because otherwise, they're all going to stay there and die.
That's not the point at all. Some of them, they do try to leave and get rescued and they get eaten by a bear.
But they wait too
or a
long.
Wolf or something.
No, they didn't get eaten by a wolf. They got into an accident.
They get eaten by a wolf.
Oh, they got attacked by a demented...
wolf? Anyway...
Is it a wolf or a bear?
It's a wolf. Anyway, I don't think that's the point at all. The point of this is showing the girls the relationships in them, the cracks that were already in their relationships when this happens.
About teenage drama.
And what happens and how they turn on each other or don't or work together. And now in the future, they all have this giant bond, even though some of them don't like each other.
And it's a secret. They don't tell anyone what happened.
No.
Everyone keeps wanting to know, and they refuse to tell them.
Because
they give them this BS story.
They know that.
So it's a mystery.
We only know some of them that came back. There are others, what they don't say, which ones survive. Yeah. So we have to guess which ones survive and which ones don't. Anyway, and at the end, we do find out another survivor. But basically, it's about their relationships and about what happens to them there and how they have to fend for themselves and look after other people too and things. And then what it does to them in this present day and what kind of troubles they're getting themselves into because they're not normal people because they've gone through this horrific time and they've evolved differently from other people because they have to be so primitive in the woods.
There's some great performances. I mean... Melanie
really
Linsky,
great.
which we just saw in Last of Us. Okay.
Yeah.
Juliette
She's
Lewis.
great.
Christina Ricci is amazing in this. She's so creepy.
Oh yeah, she's really creepy. Really like that Melanie. She's like the main character, basically, of the whole thing. It's all about what she does that basically really alters a lot of their experience. And anyway, but it's great. And
March 26, 2023. It says it's only 5 episodes? That's it?
Okay. They're all messed up, basically. Anyway, it's very interesting. I don't think it has anything to do with them leaving and getting rescued myself. But it's just a very interesting show. It's pretty brutal, though. So if you don't like blood and guts and stuff, it's pretty
it deals
brutal
with a lot of adult content. It's not really for kids.
No, it's not for kids at all. And I
this...
like to think, like, what about my class when we went on a trip, like, in grade 9? Like, I was saying, what if that was us that would have crashed?
Trying to survive in the woods? If it was me, I would be gone. I'd be like, I'm getting out of here. I'm getting rescued, buddy. You guys can stay here at the cabin. Jeez.
Anyway, I think, well, a lot of us could fish and stuff like that, but still, like the personalities and things like that, it's very interesting.
Oh yeah, it'd be teenage drama. However, as soon as I saw the first episode, my theory, which still holds up, is this just devolves into a Lord of the Flies scenario. So if you know that classic tale of Lord of the Flies, that's exactly what's going to happen.
It does have a Lord
Except
of
it's
the
mostly
Flies
girls.
element to it.
There are some guys there.
Yeah, it has definitely a Lord of the Flies element to it.
Oh, definitely.
We haven't seen all of that yet. We don't really know exactly what's happened. That's why we need to see the next season to see where exactly it's going.
What rating would you give the first season?
I'd give it like a 90.
90?
Yeah, because I don't really know where it's going. I hope it's not like a Shyamalan and it's gonna now trying to explain itself. It's not gonna work.
It started to at the end, and I didn't like that. I didn't like the ending of the finale. However, overall, it was amazing, and I'd give it a best series ever. But the end was like, okay, come on, no, that's not cool.
It's going a little Shyamalan.
It's going a little bit kind of comic book wacky at the end. I'm like, no, I don't like that.
Shyamalan is really great. It's really terrific, and then he has to explain what happened before, and sometimes the explanation isn't so good.
In
it's
3 weeks,
similar to that.
In 3 weeks, we're getting season 2.
Okay.
We're getting season 2, so I'm looking forward to it. Who else here has watched Yellowjackets, or are you going to check it out? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. We want to hear from you. We'll read it out on the next episode.